Hello and welcome back. This is Rob Thomas, your everything Microsoft Enterprise Cloud Architect. And today I am going to cover a very exciting topic where we're going to get into depth of actually turning on, setting up your Azure free account and services, get those up and running so you could start spinning up virtual machines, start using a lot of the services and capabilities inside of Azure. And then you're able to take off and test out a lot of ideas before you actually start making your purchase. Now, without further ado, I want to jump in and give a special shout out to our sponsors, and they are the Enterprise Software Solution. The software guys, or the software dudes, these guys are great. I highly recommend reaching out to these individuals as you start your Azure Office 365, Windows Server, SharePoint, Power BI, Copilot journey. These guys are great. They'll help you. You can see they work with a lot of other vendors other than myself. But once again, highly recommend using them. And let's jump into this. All right. So let's get started. Now, if you ever wondered what Microsoft Azure gives you for free, then yes, and I said it, totally for free, then you're at the right spot, right? Today's video, it's all about the Azure free account and free services, and basically what is it? Like, what is the Azure free account, free services that we all wonder that Azure has to give? It gives you some value because Microsoft is such a large company, right? And you get all of this basically like starting to build powerful apps, APIs, automation without paying a dime. Now, what is Azure? I've already explained that in many videos, but I'll quickly cover it here. Azure is Microsoft Cloud Platform. If you're new to the channel, think of it as your on-demand toolbox for building websites, running virtual machines, storing files, and a whole lot more services. And guess what? You don't have to break the bank to use it. In fact, with your free account, you can do a lot without spending anything. All right. Now, let's just jump really quickly and show you the page to Azure's free account. Now, if you go to azure.microsoft.com and you get to the purchasing options, you're going to be given these two options, right? And this is the first Azure free account. It basically is available to any new Azure customers. So you want to make sure you're brand new or you're using a new email address and assigning that email address or your new Office 365 account that you spun up. You want to make sure all of that is just brand new. You're not existing, right? If you are existing and you didn't actually sign up, you're still technically considered a new customer. This is just you using for the first time for the first 30 days. Because after you sign up, after the first 30 days, your $200 credit gets converted to a pay as you go. Now I'll talk about this in part 2 of this video, really getting to free monthly amounts of 65 plus, always free services. I'll touch on it a little bit today, but we're really focusing on free account, getting that set up. In part 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually live set this up with the user that we have. You've been seeing me use, which is this skating rink company. My wife and I have been wanting to start a skating rink company, and we just kind of sped up and been trying some ideas, right? But basically kind of show you that and then walk you through that. But giving you more insight, like when you're on this page and you click this button, it's going to start the steps of you creating that or starting the $200 free credit. Now, when you sign up for Azure, again, you're going to get the $200 free credit for 30 days just for being a new customer or new user. The credit will last for 30 days and give you the freedom to test pretty much any service you want. So any of these services, and I'll just go back to my slide, that you want, you're basically going to have the ability to start playing around with, and it's all for free. Just don't use if you use it too much, you're going to get into some challenges where there's a potential cost, but nobody ever does that. And I'll show you this slide. This is covering, and I'll click here. I'll come back to this, spend a little bit more time, but this is just a robust list of all the free services that you'll get in the first 30 days, right? And then what's actually free. A lot of this is free after the 30 days, just kind of give you an idea, right? So you can see here, you'll go down that path and you set that up. Now, even after your $200 credit runs out, which I'm going to touch on this here, after it runs out, you'll still get access to 65 services, 65 plus services that will always be free. And that's right. These don't expire after a month or a year. As long as you stay within the limits, you can keep them forever. Now, here are some big freebies. I know I did show you, I showed you these here, and this is what I'm talking about, but some highlighted ones that, of highlighted note for me, Azure App Services, you could host up to 10 web or API apps. This is perfect for testing out your new startup ideas or side hustle projects you're working on. Azure Functions, you want to run some code in response to events like a webhook or a message queue. This lets you do it in 1 million requests per month, totally free. Azure Kubernetes Services, AKS, you can manage your containers with free clusters management. Just note, you still pay for the VMs you deploy, right? Cosmo DB, you'll get 25 gigabytes of storage. That's enough for a real world non-SQL database. Azure DevOps, I'll be covering DevOps a little bit more depth in future videos. You can manage your code and projects with five free users and unlimited private Git repos. So that's a part of GitHub and so forth. So real-time use cases you can build. For me, a real-time use cases is I actually would get it to Azure because this is a big thing for everyone. When I'm in Azure, I'm spinning this up. I'm using the free services. This is a great opportunity to build your web portfolio with the API backend. In other words, my website portfolio is basically I'm spinning up a website, and that website I'm going to spin up is going to be a WordPress website. And I'm going to spin up that WordPress website, right, on Azure for free. I'm also going to spin up a WordPress website on Cloudways. So I'll compare the two. I'll say, oh, okay, I got into these two environments, and it'll give me a real-time reality of I'm really trying to solve the speed problem. I need the site to be fast. What's the level of effort I'm doing on Cloudways? Now, I've done it on Cloudways, and it's a bit of a learning curve, but it's one of the easiest platforms to spin it up on. But you're going to run into some issues, throttling capabilities. This is where Azure comes in, because the people who host Cloudways, they're using Azure, AWS, GCP, Google Platform on the back end, like you're using, so they have full capability, full throttling capability to spin up your website. You're just cutting out the middleman of Cloudways or Bluehost. You're removing these guys and doing it yourself. That's the difference. You're getting to Azure, you're spinning it up, you have full capability, full function. The only issue is I don't really know what I'm doing. All right, so I hope this was helpful, right? I just wanted to be intro, kind of really talk to this. Now in the next video, I'll break down the 12-month free tier, what services you can get and how to avoid any surprise charges. Now, trust me, you want to stick around for that. Be sure to like this video. If this video was helpful, hit subscribe, and let's move on to part 2. Thanks.